you could take a few of these rights under the bundle of rights and transfer them together, separate from the other rights, right? So again, it does depend on the context and of course the scenario and why those rights would be. Now, the general a property owner would have with their on what they can do with the property as a whole. There are also a series of rights that pertain to the specifics of the actual land itself, right? So these are known as extended land rights. And under the extended land rights, you will see that are included here. First are land rights, which are also referred to as surface rights. Next are mineral rights, which can also be referenced as subsurface. And the last one is air rights. Now, these would all be considered vertical interests. So as I mentioned, your interests in real estate, these are essentially your claim to that. It could be possession and use. You learn more about that in the interest in real estate class. I mentioned that overlap. But with these extended land rights, these extended rights here, these essentially are another grouping of rights that are going to be specific to the use of the property itself, of the real property, of the real estate, of what is associated with that land and the resources that may be accessible or found on that land. Now, in real estate, you will find that oftentimes when you're showing properties, a prospective purchaser or prospective tenant, they may ask, well, how far does the property line go, right? And ultimately, as an agent, you may or you may not know. know that information, and whether you do or if you don't, you'd want to make sure that you are properly informing and properly representing the information that you do know. And if you don't know, it's okay to say that you don't know, but you can refer that prospective buyer or that prospective tenant to find out that information from the zoning department, or again, the town, the municipality where they're purchasing in or where they're leasing in, to find out the accurate information, to go to the correct source if you don't know it. But nonetheless, the most common question that prospective ask are essentially, how far does the property line go, right? And they may very well need a surveyor to do this, to
Hi
actually
everyone.
determine how far the property line will go and whatnot, right? What's the extent? It's okay if you as an agent don't know it. But the way you want
Please
to look
subscribe
at
to my channel.
the extended land rights, think of these as your unseen boundary lines, right? Where, what I mean by this is, it's not only going to apply to the horizontal boundary lines, right? So from, looking at the front of the house, let's say, how far does the front yard go? And looking at the backyard, how far does the backyard go, right? Those are your, but your
Hi,
vertical interest
how are
also
you?
goes
At you.
your rights will extend, and how far beneath your property does it extend to? So it's so much more than just on that surface level, right? But let's break down each of the areas of these rights, these extended land rights. Let's say, for example, take a moment to imagine that you don't see any
Yes, I'm
properties
real.
on this slide at all. Let's take a
I'm
moment
that
to
mannequin.
just imagine this is just a completely blank parcel of land. That's going to be known as the real estate, the land itself, and whatever resources may be accessible to that. But if this was just a raw parcel of land, and I purchased this parcel of land, let's say I purchase on the left-hand side, where at the moment you're seeing
Yes,
the
I am studying.
actual gray roof house. We're going to imagine that's not there, just for a brief moment. And so with that, if my boundary line from where the yellow line is on the slide, and I'm purchasing this blank parcel of land with the intention to build my dream home, which will be this gray roof house, this contemporary looking home, if that is my lot of land that I plan to build on, well, in order for me to use that land and, of course, improve upon it, I'm improving the value of it, because it's no longer a dirt plot of land. It's no longer unimproved, or in other words, there's no attachment on it until I put that attachment.
Sorry guys, I'm studying.
I'm exercising my rights under my land rights or surface rights. So extended land rights, land/surface rights, these are going to begin from the actual surface of the land all the way down 30 feet beneath it. Okay, so your land or surface right area, it starts from the actual surface of the land all the way down to 30 feet beneath it. Now, if you think about, okay, well, Janice, you're planning to build this really cool contemporary looking house on this parcel of land. Why do you think you want to go down all the way 30 feet? Well, within your surface right area, you want to be able to dig the surface of the land to be able to add your footings, your foundation, right? So you want that area you want to have the rights to build in within that area, right? So from the surface all the way down to 30 feet. I'm exercising my rights under my land and surface rights to be able to build on this blank parcel of land. I'm improving upon it. So now that I've built my contemporary, really cool looking gray roof house, that house becomes an improvement. Okay. So some additional key terms you will want to remember with real property are improvements. Well, improvements are any structure that is directly attached to the land. So my gray roof house here, I've poured that foundation. It's beneath the surface of the land, right? Let's say that's been poured in up to 25 feet beneath the land. That's within my land surface right area. And therefore, I have also my basement. I have also the plumbing or electrical conduits as well to have access to electricity through the ground, and it is brought in upwards over the surface, right? I have my improvement here. That house is considered an attachment directly touching the land. Now, in addition to this individual improvement, you can also have fixtures. Now, fixtures are defined as anything that is indirectly attached to the land, but it is treated still as real property. So a fixture could be the solar panels on the roof here. I wanted this property to be more energy efficient, and so I installed solar panels onto the roof for that purpose. Therefore, those solar panels are going to be treated as part of the real property, even though they're not directly attached to the ground or touching the land. They're attached to the roof of my property, the roof of my home, and therefore it's a fixture or it's an additional improvement, but it does not directly touch the land. It's attached to the land, but it's indirectly attached. That would be a fixture. Now, let's look over to the right-hand side for a moment and notice our neighbor here, the red roof house. They have a mailbox. And above the mailbox, you see the term appurtenance. Well, appurtenances are also going to fall under your real property definition, because an appurtenance, this would be anything that's permanently associated with the land or with the real property. It's an attachment with the real property that actually may not be a physical attachment per se. This could be, for example, an easement, a right of access to use your driveway, for example, or maybe there's a river in the back that's